Welcome in, everyone. Happy to see you guys as always. We have a fascinating update to the Delta Force drama that is absolutely consuming the internet, has people on Reddit, social media talking. We seem to have our first kind of real development since the photos of women in Delta Force went missing. But before we get into that, what do I need you guys to all do? Please like, subscribe, comment with your thoughts. Every time you like the video, every new subscriber, every comment, it helps push us up in the algorithm, and that helps get the stories we're trying to share out to more people. And I would really appreciate it. You guys play a huge role in the success of this, probably even a bigger role than I do. I can't do this without you. So I thank all of you. And let's get into... my charger just got ripped off the table. Let's get into the topic that has captivated the military, the special operations community for about a week now. So the background is the Army's official website in early December published an article that formally acknowledged and admitted that women serve in Delta Force. Now, I'm going to say this because I have to say this in every video. Whenever I say that, people are like, they're not operators. They don't go through OTC. There's no women who ever went through OTC. That's 100% true. I have never once claimed there have been women who went through OTC. I have never once claimed that there's women in the assault squadrons. What I have said, and what many other people, including former members of the unit, former members of Delta Force have said, is that there are women in the unit doing a variety of different jobs that are critically important, and they have been there for a very long time, and they've been doing it for years. But yet all the Medal of Honor winners on Reddit and all the war heroes on social media thought they knew more than the actual guys who'd been there. So for the record, again, I feel the need to say this every single time. They're not operators. They did not go through OTC. I have never once claimed that, and yet everyone seems to hear that and go crazy. It's just crazy to me that people are that sensitive they can't open their minds a little bit. But anyways, the article goes up in early December. It includes, I believe, 4 photos of women in the unit. You can see those. I'll flash them up here on the screen for you. You can see the photos of the women that were included in the article. It didn't take long for the article to gain a significant amount of attention. When it gained a significant amount of attention, out of nowhere, the article like that was pulled from the Army's website. It was gone. And to be clear, the Army said right when it was published, this is not the official stance of the military, but it is published on the Army's website. So they cleared it. They reviewed it. They hit publish. They put it on their website. They knew exactly what it was. So it's a little disingenuous for the Army to have a disclaimer being like, well, this is not the Army's official stance. Well, you published an article admitting women were in Delta Force, so you know damn well what was in the article. You put it up, and then after it got viral attention, because I shared it on social media, I shared it on Twitter, I put it on Instagram, I put it on the website, I put it everywhere, and it was trending on Google for like 4 straight days. They decide to take the article down. What they didn't realize is the Army didn't take down the PDF file that was included in the article, which was the entire article still, that included all the photos. The PDF file was still up, okay? So the Army scrubs the internet of the photos, the article, and then doesn't scrub the PDF file, which I point out in an update on Outkick.com, and link to it, excuse me, and link to it. And as soon as I linked to it and published that, I knew right away that was coming down. As soon as the Army could figure out that the PDF was still up, it was coming down. Sure enough, this morning, I go look it up with this update, and what's gone? The PDF file is no longer up. There is nothing remaining from that article still on the internet. It is all gone. Got my trusty Wisconsin Badgers mug with the helmets here. Now, I tried to reach out to the Army. I tried to get an answer as to why this article was taken down, as to why these photos were taken down. Couldn't get one. Could not get one. No one would talk to me. Don't have a clue why. But we do have our first, what I would call legitimate update here. And I'm going to read it to you. It comes from the High Side Substack. And this is what they wrote. I believe when was this published? This was published Saturday, December 14th. So no matter when you're watching this video, this came out Saturday, December 14th. SOCOM, which is the Special Operations Command, asked the Army to take the article offline because it had not gone through the official staffing procedures prior to its publication. This is where things get a little dicey. However, an Army source familiar with the article said the article went through several security reviews, and the author had and has the support of her immediate command. Then says Delta Force is a secretive unit about which the Army publishes very little online. Suspecting that the article would be taken down, the high side saved a digital copy, which is the exact same thing I did. And it also notes at the top of this high side article that it is written by one of those women, thus hinting, I guess, that the person who wrote it was actually a current woman in Delta Force. And the funny thing about that is I saw the woman's name on the article. I Googled it, thinking maybe she was a writer at a news outlet, whatever it might be. Couldn't find anything about this woman. Could not find anything about this woman, which to me was kind of my first red flag that something might not be totally up to par, if you will. I thought that was a little odd. I couldn't find any proof that this woman exists. Now that we know apparently the writer is a member of Delta Force, that I'm not going to say her name here because that would be very unfair to her. But this whole situation, the lid has been blown off. Let's just call it what it is. The lid has been blown off of the belief or curiosity or wonder of, are there women in Delta Force? I've told you for years that they are. They serve a variety of different roles, and you don't have to take my word for it. There's members of the unit who have gone out there and talked about this publicly. This is not some secret. There are articles online about this. The difference was none of it ever came from official military channels. None of it ever came directly from the United States military, directly from the United States government. And now they're telling two different stories. The first story, which I think we all knew is what they were going to go with, is that it didn't go through the proper security review, and thus that's why it had to come down. That doesn't really make any sense. As someone who works in the news, I know the process to get something published online, and we're talking about just basic stuff. We're not talking about potentially highly classified information or, at a minimum, highly sensitive information, which women in Delta Force is an extremely sensitive topic the government has gone out of its way to protect. So I don't buy for 1 second that this article was not reviewed like SOCOM is apparently now trying to claim. The photos in the article are literally cited to the Special Mission Unit Public Affairs. That means somebody at USASOC or SOCOM or in that chain looked at the photos, first took the photos, then reviewed the photos, then signed off on the photos, and then gave them to a person to publish. There is zero chance in hell, zero, not even a 1% chance, a 0% chance that the Army did not review that article before it went up. There's a 0% chance that's true. I don't believe that for 1 second. So they can spin that narrative. I'm not buying it. Point number 2. This is why the article came down, and we all know. We don't even have to pretend. We don't even have to pretend like it's some big mystery. It was simply too sensitive. That's what it was. So they're out here spinning this narrative now about, well, it wasn't reviewed. And then the other side was saying, yes, it was reviewed. Who's telling the truth? Doesn't really matter. Because at the end of the day, the article came down because the U.S. government didn't want an article out there talking about one of its most sensitive units, one of its most sensitive subsections in that unit. And that's why the article came down. But here's the thing. In a situation like this, the toothpaste is out of the tube. There's no coming back. The Army is not going to make us all forget what we saw. We all read the article. We've all seen the photos. We've all seen the post on Instagram, X, formerly Twitter, Reddit. You can't come back from that. Once the toothpaste is out of the tube, it's not going back in. That's the reality of the situation. So for the Army or anyone else to say it wasn't reviewed, sorry, pretend like you never saw that stuff, we all saw it. It's game over. It is now officially confirmed that women serve in Delta Force in a variety of roles. And here's the last thing I'll say. I'm glad it is confirmed because, quite frankly, all these people who've never been near a gunfight once in their life, not one time, who get on Reddit and act like they've got, more medals than anyone in the history of the military, telling you that there's no women in special operations. There's never been one woman in Army special operations, and there never will be. You don't have any idea what you're talking about. And don't take it from me. Again, former members of the unit have publicly talked about this. And yes, we all know they're not OTC grads. They're not on assault squadrons. Believe it or not, there's still more jobs within Delta Force you have to do. Not everything is putting an explosive charge on a door and blowing it off its hinges. There's a lot of work to be done. And that requires a vast skill set, a diversified skill set in order to complete that task. And so for everyone who said forever, it couldn't be, I would love to hear your comments below, whether you agree with this, disagree with it, whatever it might be. I want to hear your take on the issue. And I'm not buying the excuse. I don't believe it for 1 second. I would encourage you guys not to believe it ever either. It sounds like complete BS, to be honest with you. But if you made it this far in the video, that means you've really liked what you saw. It is a fascinating topic. I want you to comment with your thoughts on women in Delta Force and whatever role they might serve. And also make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all next time.